Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. And today we're talking about my least favorite topic ever, and it's social media. But we're not just going to rag on social media. My guest is going to help you create profitable social media, profitable platforms, and figure out how to really use social media to drive your business forward, build a brand, all these amazing things. And I'm not the guy to help you with that, but that's why we have a guest. Her name is Shyla Collier, and she's from Premier Social Media. Shyla, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you've already heard how I feel about social media. I totally shared that before we started recording. I'm not trying to keep any secrets here, but I'm curious. I mean, you help people grow their social media presence. How did you first get into social media management, and also why?
Yeah, so I've been in marketing for 17 years. I have had this business for 10 years, but it was really, I just loved page layouts back then is what it really was about. And back then it was on paper. And that's kind of what made me go to school for advertising. And then I landed a really good internship, which then turned into a paid internship. And then I worked for big companies, and then now we're here, and we just hit our 10-year mark. So that's exciting.
That's amazing. First of all, congratulations. As I'm sure you know, most businesses don't see that mark. So that's a big milestone. But we're talking about making social media platforms profitable today. So there are a bajillion and a half, roughly, social media platforms. Which ones are we going to talk about today?
So I'd say we'll talk about Facebook, TikTok, now that we're offering that, as well as Pinterest, because most people overlook that one.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't say that I've ever been on Pinterest for more than like 3 seconds in my life. So I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that. But let's start with the big one. Let's start with Facebook. I'd love to understand whether it's like what types of clients, or not clients, what types of companies leverage Facebook really well. What types of companies maybe shouldn't be on the platform and should look elsewhere? How do you evaluate whether your company should or should not be on specifically that platform, but really any platform?
Honestly, that one's the biggest and best platform there is. So I would say every company should be on there. But there are some that should actually, spend more time on it than others. So it is much profitable for certain businesses, which would be like the home services are very profitable on there. Those are probably my favorite ones to do. But really, we do we help market all types of businesses on there because people are looking for that, especially if they're in the age category, which is typically who most of us small business owners service, which is the people that are in their 35 plus, because usually they have money.
Yeah, you don't want to be selling to the broke 20-year-olds. Shout out to you guys if you're listening. But anyway, so what are we doing on Facebook? It's one thing to be on the platform. It's another thing to actually leverage it and be profitable and use it to grow your brand, right. Make more money, make more sales, whatever it is. So what are you doing when you start working with a client? We could take one of your clients, we can make up a fictional client. The book is open here, but I'm curious for the listeners, like, how do we understand what the best approach to Facebook is rather than just saying like, let's just go pay for ads and see what happens?
Right. Well, most people are doing ads the wrong way. We actually just had a client recently and she was putting so much money out. I want to say like multiple grand a month, and it was going way to the wrong people. It wasn't even close to who it was going to. So that's a big problem. So yeah, you definitely need to know what you're doing when you are doing the ads. But typically when we get a client, we're going to create, a posting calendar and come up with what we're going to be posting consistently, because consistency is key with any of the platforms, and with anything in general, with marketing or business, obviously. So first we do that, and then we create graphics. Obviously they have to be eye pleasing. So we do that. And then the content is key too. And then also we're doing the paid ads as well. And then we typically do organic engagement too, which is very important. So a person's personal page is just as important as their business page. So we do focus on both actually. And really 90% of my business comes from my personal page.
Hmm.
And it has for all these years because I've been on Facebook since it started. I was a college student. That's what it was about. so, so yeah, I would say all that. And with the organics, we utilize the groups a lot too.
Okay, I'm curious about that one. What are you doing in groups?
Basically get your presence known. So yeah, we do a lot in there. We can pull leads from there in any area that the person wants to be in. So we can really target it to different areas and
Interesting.
interests as well.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. As far as the content though, this I think is where I can speak for myself at least. The to put energy into coming up with content and then making it and making the graphics, like you said, it drives me insane. Like I want nothing to do with it. And I talk to
Right.
a lot of my clients too, and they're like, no, we don't. I don't have any time for that. So
Mhm.
when we're thinking about what we should be creating for content, do you like to is I would assume it's custom for each one of your clients, but is there
Right.
a balance between you're adding value, you're educating, you're selling? Like, how do we come up with that sort of a mix that's appropriate for our ideal clients?
Yeah, so for almost everyone, we try and put out something that looks like an ad each week, whether we push it out or not. It just looks like that. But I would say once a week is good on that. If you have products, obviously that's going to be in a different category than an ad, and you'll have multiple of those. But so typically that's what we focus on. And then, yes, Facebook, you want to add value. That's what it's all about. So we always do some sort of tip, we always do some sort of fun thing too, some facts. It's kind of a mix of everything on Facebook, and that's why I love Facebook because it's so different from the other platforms that you're actually educating. You're actually giving the audience a lot of information too, unlike Instagram or something like that.
Mm. Yeah, well, talk to me about the difference because they're the same company, right? It's Meta. So
Right.
what's the difference between? I know you didn't say we're going to spend time on Instagram, but I am curious, real quick.
Sure.
Instagram, you see very much visually appealing, very short form content, which is drastically
Mhm.
different than Facebook. So
Right.
what is the real difference between the two?
So it's mostly pictures are on Instagram, which on Facebook, you're always going to have branding on there. So you always have your logo on there. You always have typically some sort of writing on your pictures. And on Instagram, no, we mostly just do plain photos with nothing on them. And then also the reels are huge on Instagram as well as TikTok, of course, but not as big on Facebook.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then let's jump on over to TikTok before we dive into Pinterest a little bit. TikTok, I think I got this one. The goal is to shake your butt. Is that how you grow your brand and your business on TikTok?
No, I have not done any of those. But honestly, I think it's a lot easier to brand yourself, especially if you have a business, something like mine. So I'm really branding myself on there. But you also can use it for companies, of course. Especially if you have a product, it works really well for that. But there's so many ways to make money on TikTok. So it's really cool because you can get money from your fans giving you the gifts on live, and they translate into money. And then you get stuff from monetizing as well as your TikTok shop, whether that be you selling for others or you selling for yourself. So there's so many ways to make money on there, and people can even give you hearts on your actual videos too, and that can make you money right there too. So there's so many different ways on there, and it's very unlike all the other platforms. So we are getting really into that, and we're pushing that now because we did start offering that service.
Yeah, it's a really unique platform,
It
and
is.
it's just totally disrupting, I think, the way social media is done, which is a good thing. A
Mhm.
lot of people have figured it out. Some have yet to figure it out. Sounds like you're one of the ones who have. For your personal strategy, you said
Mhm.
you've been on. You may have said this before we started recording, but you've been on TikTok for the last 6 or 8 months. Like,
Like 9, yeah.
what's okay, even longer. So, what's your growth path been like? Like you started from nothing and you've grown to I don't know
Mhm.
where you're at now, but what did that look like? What was your process or really what was your system to efficiently grow?
Yeah, so we're at like 14.4K, and honestly, I'm just Shyla Collier on there. It is at Premier Social Media, but I kind of mostly am, and like I said, a day in the life of kind of things, because that goes really well. So people want to know more about me, and I don't have another platform to do that much except for my personal Facebook. But so yeah, growing is huge. Obviously in 9 months for 14.4K, that's really good. Yeah, we really focused on the lives at the beginning. We're going to get back into that again, but I kind of wanted to take each thing a step at a time and master each thing and then move on and tell my clients about that too. So yeah, you definitely want to grow right away. And I think the live is a great way to do that, because you're always talking to new people. You get new fans every single time you do a live, you're going to get new fans. Also just meeting other business owners. That's been huge for us. I've actually met really good friends that have helped me with TikTok too, directly on TikTok, and we met on TikTok. So yeah, there's really good connections there, and that's really what it's all about on TikTok, is making those connections. And then you find your certain friends that always support you on there. And that's great too. And then always giving back too, because when you see that people are, interacting with you, I always interact back with them. And I even go onto their pages and then support them. And that's really big on TikTok, because that's what people are looking for. And if they can have that, then they're always going to come back to your page. And just becoming like friends. And that's what I've really done on there. So
Yeah, I think that's good advice for life. If you can support
right.
other people, they'll support you.
Exactly.
So I like that. But I'm curious, if someone's hearing this for the first time and they've put off TikTok, or they have an account, but they just use it to scroll, not to build a brand or whatever. What would you say is the most important thing? You said to go live in the beginning, but I know you have to have at least 1,000 followers to go live. So how are we getting from 0 to at least 1,000 in a very short period of time, and also building our personal brand at the same time? What's your suggestions around that?
Yeah, so they just knocked it down to 800 or 500. Okay. It kind of depends on what account you have and where you're at and stuff like that. So you could get it a lot sooner. But yeah, again, it's just really connecting with those people and being active. You have to consistently post. That is huge, because once you post, you'll always get new followers from that too. So all these things that you're doing, that's how you're going to quickly do it. And so definitely consistency is key. And on TikTok, it's really cool because in the first month, they give you a huge push on everything. So you really want to do a good job with that, because they want you to stay. So they're going to give you a huge push on your video views. They're going to give you a huge push on your lives. You're going to do really well, but you have to keep going. If you stop after that month, even I'm talking for a couple days or a week, it's going to then shoot everything down, and you're going to have to start from scratch. And then it's going to be much, much harder because you won't have that initial push. So really it's all about consistency on there, and actually keeping up with what you're doing. And they really want you to post a lot more. I notice when I post more than one per day, it kind of splits the post reach. So I don't do that. But some people say to do 3 times per day, which seems like a lot of work, because these videos they're a lot of work. They really are. So I just do once per day, but then I was going live, honestly, sometimes 4 times a day. And then also you can get picked up by agents too, and the agents help you. So I actually got, and this is different than what kind of agency we have. So they're TikTok agents. TikTok pays them for you to be part of their agency. So it's all free. It's really cool. So I actually have a TikTok shop agent, and then there's a live agent too.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So that it begs the question. I have a TikTok account. All I do is post. Well, if you're seeing this, you know what I post, because it's just cut up videos of these podcasts, because I can't stand making videos. But it was, I think I started a year and a half ago. At the time this goes live, probably 2 years ago. And it was consistent, not consistent. Is it better for me to delete that account and start from scratch? Or are you just saying prioritize now being consistent and going live?
Typically, if you take a break from it too, and that's what I was doing from the live. So if you take a break from it, for say 2 months, I mean, it's not the best idea. If you don't want to start over, this would be what you would do. So take a break from that. And then usually when you come back, same thing, it gives you a big push because it wants you to do it again. So that would probably be the way, if you already kind of say messed up your account, that would probably be the next best thing. So you don't have to create one because you probably built it up. If you don't have much on there and just have a couple followers or something, then yeah, just redo. But if you actually have a following and such, then I would kind of do a reboot on it.
Okay. I love the advice. I appreciate it too. And you were very kind when you said that I messed up my account. I heard you say that. I did. But we're going to move on because I needed to hear it. But Pinterest, you talked about Pinterest. I'm surprised by this. This one seems, though, like it would be for a very, I don't want to say niche business, but not every business should be on Pinterest, I would assume, but I'm willing to be wrong on that one. So tell me what types of businesses should really or see the most leverage from being on Pinterest?
Okay, so honestly, this is what we use it for. So really it can help all businesses. So there's two things to use it for. One could be if you're a product, then you can sell directly on there and you can sell lots of products. And people pay a good chunk of money. I know when I last checked, the average tag of the item that they were purchasing from Pinterest was like $140. So that's a good amount to purchase for one item on Pinterest. So there's that. So that would be anyone with an, items that they're selling in like an e-commerce store. Perfect for that. The next thing is to get ranked on Google. That's what we typically use it for mostly. We'll use it for both, but that's the big one. So I'll suggest it to every client really, because first of all, it's a directory listing. Any social media is a directory listing. So it's going to help your search engine optimization, which is huge. And then on top of that, what happens is if you know what you're doing on it, again, you have to know what you're doing. But if you categorize things properly, the boards and your pins and everything, you can actually get them on the Google Images search very easily. So definitely this is all about how you write the content on these things. So that's really what we do. So we kind of do even a one-time thing. If you set it up all properly, it can really have a huge push and people will come to, it's the only social media platform that people will always keep coming to you because they'll find your pins. And so like with Facebook, say you post it, probably no one's really going to see that post after say a week or so. They're probably never going to see it again unless they're like searching through your page. But Pinterest is so different because your stuff from years ago is still getting found. I still have tons of people that come to mine and I don't always post on Pinterest at all. Some of them are from like 10 years ago and they're still getting found either in the images or on Pinterest itself.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I've heard that because on the different other social media platforms, posts will expire between 15 minutes, I think on X was one stat I saw versus up to maybe 48 hours on other platforms or a week,
Yeah.
like you're saying.
Yeah.
And Pinterest, I think the stat I saw was 4 months is the average lifespan of a post. But even
And
that,
it's
like you can
really
see the
forever.
drastic different and longer,
Mhm.
much longer, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So I didn't consider that for the SEO and the searchability. That's a really interesting stat there.
Yeah, I don't think many people do it in that manner, but we definitely do.
Yeah, that's cool. That fun fact about podcasting, it does the same thing and I think it's because you're leveraging another searchable database and
Mhm.
they rank highly. So you by nature rank highly. It's the same exact thing with
Very true.
podcasts.
Mhm.
Didn't know about Pinterest though. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
I got to be honest though, you've overcomplicated this for me. You haven't overcomplicated. You made me more scared than I was before because now I'm like, oh, it's not just doing it; it's doing it right and wrong. So
Right.
I'm gonna go hide in a cave and never go on social media again. But assuming
No.
the audience is not as dumb as I am and they want to actually get more tips and work with you, what's the best place to find out the right way to do social media?
Yeah, so we do offer a DIY approach, which is a training, and they're very intense trainings, and they're just for you. So you can go to our website and see some more about the training, or we can do everything for you if you don't like the DIY approach. So we try and offer something to every type of client and every client so that we can help them.
I love it. That's fantastic. Just because I'm scared now, but I see the value in social media. I know you can make it profitable. Can you give me a story before I let you go of a client who came to you? Maybe they were as bad as me, if not worse, and then their social media is now making them tons of money. I'm sure you have a case study like that.
Yeah, we definitely do. We were working with someone for many, many years. Now they have a whole marketing team, but they went from a very, very small amount. I don't want to say numbers or names or anything, to over very, very seven figures. So that is huge,
Of
and they
revenue
were
or followers?
a revenue,
Wow.
and followers a great number too. But yeah, that's what's possible. I would say when they started, they were in the 30,000 realm as far as their revenue, and we put them well over into the seven figures. So that's what we like to do. That's what we like to see, and we love having clients that we can work with for years too. And that's what it makes me so happy to help business owners, and that's why I do what I do.
That's awesome. I love it. Shyla, thank you for coming here and sharing your wisdom, helping us get over our social media fears. I will get over it. I promise. I'm not going to be this dramatic. But I appreciate you coming and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much.
Wherever you're watching, listening, first things first, website is on the screen if you're watching, but it's all down in the show notes down below. So you can go reach out to Premier Social Media, have them help you with your social media game. And maybe, who knows, maybe make seven figures of revenue. No promises, but it's possible. Make sure you subscribe. We want to see you on tomorrow's episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Thanks for listening.